Hey, what's up, guys? It's Zach, and today we're back in Adobe Illustrator creating a vector drip slash glitch style portrait. As you can see, I already had like a photo that I brought in from Photoshop. If you don't know how to do that, I have a video on that. It's just the TLDR of it is it's the waves effect in Photoshop with like the square option ticked. You can just like mess with all those little settings and get a bunch of cool different effects. Really cool for glitch stuff. I like to glitch my photos sometimes before I bring it into Illustrator. Well, for one, I was doing this on stream, so I like wanted to have an idea of what I was gonna do before, so I didn't have to like just spend a lot of time finding photos and stuff. But for two, it also like gives you a chance to like warp your lines around the glitches, if that makes sense, and then you can even glitch it more after, and it gets like, I don't know, it starts to layer up and gives it like a texture where everything like farther back glitched is a little more like mushed together and a little harder to read and everything. But yeah, so like I said, I did this on stream the other day, and it took about 2 to 2.5 hours total. A little bit of that was honestly just me like finagling with the color a lot at the end, which I even cut out of this video because that's not me scrolling through 50 different options on the levels isn't too entertaining. But as far as like the vector part, no, I'm doing my normal like separate everything into layers, put my sketch on top with like a 40% opacity. I start by doing all my blacks, or at least the big sections of blacks, and the color, like large sections of color first. I like to, one thing I don't think I mentioned very much is that towards the end of the process, I do have two monitors, and by using smart objects, you can just sit here and save this file and have it appear in the Photoshop, like auto update in the Photoshop file or whatever. So it lets me see what the color and everything's going to look like as I go. So that's why I like to get a lot of my colors done like fairly quickly, so I can like start to really, I don't know, living with the color and figuring it out and figuring how dark. Because a lot of times if I just kind of like wing it, and then when I get to the end, like, and start editing stuff in Photoshop, it gets a little bit harder to like, I don't know, do some fine tuning. Like I end up having to like do way more work than if I would have just been super conscious of color and everything from the very beginning. So, and as you saw, I have some reference photos off to the side, and that's something I do quite a bit. Is I just build up like huge amounts of like reference photos for color and stuff, like on Pinterest, Behance, Dribble, just whatever you use, Instagram. Like just create a folder on there of like color, because I really think, and just steal from it, because I really think like the easiest way to learn color really well is just by like studying just a little bit of color theory. And I mean like a little, you don't have to get too deep into it. Like you just need to know complementary colors, like what monochromatic is, hue, saturation, value, like things like that are just very basic, and really is just gonna like translate over any program. It doesn't matter if you're in Photoshop, InDesign, or with a paintbrush. Like all those concepts of like communicating how color looks are going to be universal throughout. So that's something you can't really like get around learning, because it's just kind of the fundamental of everything. But I think after that, you really just like can dive into like looking at people's color and like what good people do with color, and just mimic that, copy that. Like one thing that got me so much better at color is I tried to like replicate a bunch of Van Gogh paintings, and that got me, like, I read a little bit about him and like watched some documentaries around the time too, so I was like kind of into him. So I like kind of knew what he was saying about complementary colors and stuff, but it really makes more sense when you force yourself to like, I don't know, like try to mimic his colors, because then you understand how to mix them, and then you understand like, oh, putting a little bit of a complementary color in my black, or mixing my black from like a bunch of stuff around the like complementary color of what it's going to be touching up against, like things like that like is why I put like my darks here are tinted blue, because blue is a complementary color to orange, and then all my lighter stuff has like more of an orange tint, so you have that like play of like cool versus warm, also complementary, and it makes like things stand out a lot more. And I just want to elaborate on that a little bit. And by black, I just mean like any shading, because a lot of times I just use like my quote unquote black, and I make it like 30% opacity and then cover up other places. So that's what I call like my black or whatever. But also just touching on like the term black, I don't think you should ever use, or I mean, there's specific cases, but you shouldn't use pure black. Like 90% of the time, I'd say, if not more. Like pure black looks flat. And so what you do is you make your, like I was saying, you put like, you find a blue that looks good with your orange, and then you take it all the way to the darkest value almost, you know what I'm saying, where you just get like a little bit, and you may not even notice it. Like your eye will pick up on things that you don't even notice. Like a lot of times if you just tint your background with like a 5% like yellow or orange or something, and then draw blue on top of it, it'll look 200 times different. And it's just like, you don't notice those things a lot of times when you think of it like serendipitously. Like you just be scrolling through colors and be like, these two feel good together, but we don't really understand like we don't put a lot of thought into why they feel good. Or we'll look at other people's work and not or at least I can't speak for everyone, just myself. I'll catch myself like knowing their color looks good, but not really understanding why it looks good and not really taking the time to break it down. And I think just like the only thing that forces you to really break it down is by like really getting your hands dirty and being like, okay, well, give me those colors and see what I can do with them. It's kind of like a comic book colorist. You know how they get line art, or someone else draws the line art a lot of times, and then a comic book artist will have someone else, or a different comic book artist will come in and color it. My favorite example of this on YouTube is Michael K. Russell. I feel like I learned a lot of just the basics of how to color in Photoshop from him. So if you haven't, like, if you want to get more deeper into coloring, and if you want to learn more about like how to color in Photoshop, because that's primarily what he works in. But either way, even if you don't work in Photoshop, a lot of the same concepts are universal, like I said. So you can just like go in there, learn a lot about color, and then go take it back to Illustrator, and it's going to translate just as much. But this, I got distracted. But like I said, this is like the opposite of a comic book colorist. This is us taking our lines and our drawing or whatever and trying to almost fit another color scheme in or something, if that makes sense. So you try to build like a bank of color schemes, pretty much, of other people's color schemes, and then just use those to help understand those. And then, like, for instance, the classic synthwave look of like the blue and purple or pink or whatever it is, like that used to not be natural for me to use. I came from printmaking, so it was, do you want it black, or do you want it black, or do you want it paper? That was pretty much your option. So a lot of those like neon color schemes and things like that weren't in my toolbox or whatever, and it's something you just have to like study successful pieces and study artists that use that style of color scheme successfully, and just like keep building on it until you feel until you feel comfortable with that one, and then just go on to the next one. And speaking of going on to the next one, I'm about to actually get back to work, to what I was working on, or what I'm currently working on. You'll see it soon. Just another one of these videos. I don't particularly think I have like 7 more minutes worth of like useful information for this, but if you have any questions or anything like that, be sure to leave them in the comments. One thing that I have been seeing in the comments a decent amount, and just like in general, is people asking for not sped up stuff, and like that practically just is hard to make happen, because either I'm pulling these drawings from my Twitch, which is ultimately what I'm going to plug, or just from like, you know what I'm saying, screen capturing if I don't have good internet or just don't feel like streaming. So in either one of those, the Twitch one, I'll maybe talking and maybe explaining stuff, but I'm listening to music while I do it. So if I just upload that to YouTube, it's going to get taken down. And first off, it's going to be like 4 or 5 hours for a drawing. So to make it usable content to YouTube, I have to strip the audio, which leaves me 2 options. Either just upload it blank, which would be a 4-hour, no audio YouTube video drawing, or me talk over it for 4 hours. And I can't talk for 4 hours, and you guys can't listen to me for 4 hours. Or at least, let me say the one I know for sure. I can't do it for 4 hours. I would hope to God y'all would not want to listen to me for 4 hours. But so that's why ultimately I'm just kind of saying, like, if you want to like watch in real time and be able to ask questions, Twitch is definitely like the place for that. If you're just looking for like overview or know what I drew or understand some broad concepts, I think YouTube is definitely better. But with so much of this, it's hard, and it's hard to make step by step. It's hard to say like click this button and then click that button, because like these are just recordings of me really drawing or not having a plan and just kind of like freestyle and whatever. I mean, obviously there's a picture and shit, but I didn't think about before this picture started what the color scheme was going to be. Like, obviously I pulled the photos in, but I'm saying when I sat down, when I pulled this photo, when I glitched it, like I had no idea what the outcome was going to be. It's kind of like happy accidents the whole way, so, and just like letting myself flow. So if I put together, and I've tried doing this before, I've tried putting together like drawings to do for YouTube and then make a video and then really sit down and talk about it, and it's just going to look like shit. Like, it's going to make this less fun to me. It's going to make the product less fun for y'all, because it's going to be way shittier. I think the only videos I've really sat down to do that is like I had a skull video on here that was like didn't do well, and I just explained how to use the pen tool, but like people don't want to hear that. People don't want to hear like how to properly use the pen tool. 95% of what I'm doing is the pen tool. That's it. That's the video. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's Pathfinder pen tool. That's it. And really, you could get away without the Pathfinder. You could just do the pen tool, and the rectangle tool. I use that a shit ton. But yeah, like I said, I'm sorry to those people that are asking for the tutorial or more of a step-by-step thing, and I haven't really got to it. I'm open to suggestions. Be sure to like leave those. Like, get a hold of me. Put them in the comments. Hit me up on Instagram. Like, if you can think of a better way or see something that I don't or know of a way, or just have particular things that are, people are getting caught up on. Like, if you don't understand something and want to see something specific, well, then I can break that down for sure. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you give me a question, I can answer that. Like, that's easy. But if it's just the whole thing, it gets hard to like, okay, where do you start? Where do you, you know what I'm saying? And where are certain people at? Like, where do you begin on the pen tool? Where do you, where's your current base for what you know? I don't know everyone, so it's so much easier with feedback. So if you do have a complaint or like a friendly suggestion, definitely leave that in the comments. Like I said, I'm open to that. So yeah, I appreciate y'all very much. I appreciate especially the ones that are, listening to this now, that got all the way through this shit. But I appreciate y'all checking out my work. I appreciate the support. Yeah, y'all have a great day. I'm going to let the rest of this run time lapse. I think there's a little bit more like Photoshop stuff and then just fine details, but which is probably actually what people care about more than most stuff. But yeah, so y'all have a great day and y'all stay safe out there. Bye.